Hi. I've sort of met LaLaine when she was making the movie Promised Land. I walked into this gas station, and towards the far left of the gas station, she was looking down at this guy working on a tire. And her hair was kind of in her face, so I didn't really see her face, and I didn't really recognize her. But I did recognize she was a very pretty girl. And I guess somebody had already told her that guy out there is a huge fan of yours. And so after I said something to the guy who was working on the tire, she walked over to me real briskly like, and that just froze up my nerves right there. I mean, it terrified me. And as I was talking to the guy who was working on the tire and different people and stuff, I would move my neck like this to avoid looking at her because I was so terrified of her. And I kind of saw her at the corner of my eye. So after a while, this is sometime after moving around a bit and everything, I looked over towards her, and I forced myself to look at her, and too afraid to make eye contact, so I just kind of stared at her forehead. And I asked her, "Do I know you from somewhere?" And she just by this time she was leaning up against a door jamb with her arms crossed, and she just kind of, her eyes just kind of got big, and she didn't say anything. And I was thinking that maybe she was mad at me or something. So so I was thinking maybe she was a daughter of an adversary of some friend of mine. Of my parents or something. And so I asked her in a real gruff voice, "Are you the daughter of so and so?" And with her arms still crossed, she just kind of rolled her eyes and turned around and walked away. And I think it was about a good 10, 15 minutes after I had left the gas station, I realized who she was. And oh man, it just devastated me because I was a huge fan of hers. I mean, I think LaLaine is about the most beautiful girl in the world. She's so talented. She's such a skilled actress. She's so good at singing. She has so much charisma. She has so much rhythm. Her voice she has the most beautiful voice, most beautiful eyes, most beautiful smile. I have some CDs of hers, and I love the lyrics of the songs. I fall for any girl that resembles her. I saw this girl a few times at the post office in a few different places, and she looks just like LaLaine. And I kind of asked around about her, and somebody told me that they think she works at the school. And I was thinking that it was possible she was the daughter of an old friend of ours, of my parents and mine, named Bert. He worked at the school, and I thought maybe he got a job for her or something. But we knew him from years ago, and he worked at the school, and his wife worked at the mine as a chemist, and they had a little daughter, the most adorable little girl you ever seen. I even commented to her parents that she's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and I can still remember her because she was such a pretty little girl, and I remember that she looked a lot like LaLaine looks, and I believe they called her Ladybug or Ladybird, or I'm pretty sure it was Ladybug. I don't know what her real name was, but they were real nice people. Me and my parents, we had dinner at their place a couple of times. They had like a real nice garden. Had a couple of little Pomeranian dogs and stuff, and nicest people we ever met. Real hardworking and everything. And I was thinking this girl might have been Ladybug grown up, and her father, since he worked for the school, got her the job there or something. But I asked around, and I asked my old history teacher, and he said that he thinks the girl I'm talking about is, her name is actually Madeline or something like that, and she's a young science teacher, or part-time science teacher or something. But all the same, she looks like LaLaine, so I think she's drop dead gorgeous. But LaLaine, at first I didn't watch that show Lizzie McGuire because when I was younger I preferred Even Stevens. Lizzie McGuire seemed like a very girly, sissy kind of show. But I did comment to a friend of ours that I thought that the character Miranda was just absolute doll. And as LaLaine got into other things and stuff, I became a huge fan of her. Like I say, I've got her CDs. I got a big poster of her on my wall and everything. I'm just crazy about her. And I think she's the most beautiful woman on earth. And you can tell she's a very sweet person. Like when they'd have those interviews on the Disney Channel, the way she talked about her family and just say the word family. she could tell it's something that really mattered to her. You can tell she has a lot of faith and love in her heart. I remember her website and the way she talked about God and everything. And you can tell it's genuine. I know recently, I heard about it kind of late, but I heard recently that she was involved in drugs in order to lose weight, and it terrified me. Not because I thought of her as being a bad person because of it, but because I know the danger of it. Because my uncle died of drugs, my sister died of drugs. But the thing is I know that she's still a good person, but because there's still good people who make the foolish decision to go down that road. I mean, I almost did because my uncle and aunt were trying to get me on it. And, my aunt, she even got the Bible out. She's a real religious fundamentalist. She believed the world was only 10,000 years old. She used to tell me I was a bad Christian because I believed in evolution and stuff. But she actually got the Bible out and was saying there's nowhere in the Bible that says drugs is bad. And she said that marijuana is a sacred herb and blah, 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 blah. And, of course, my uncle, he eventually ended up dying because of drugs, So, I mean, drug dealers can be very good con artists. And I know LaLaine's not a bad person, and I wish people wouldn't act like she was, The thing about faith is not something that's going to keep you from making mistakes. It's something that will help you get through those mistakes. It's just like LaLaine's song, we all fall down. You can tell she has a faith that she'll be lifted up out of this. My mom used to always say that, anybody can fall in the gutter, but it takes somebody with character to pull themselves out. And you can tell that LaLaine has the character to pull herself out. And, there's people who are a whole lot, but look, take Robert Downey Jr. He was a whole lot more messed up with drugs than, LaLaine ever was, and very, very bad off. And yet, look at him now. He starred in the new movie Iron Man. He's doing all these different projects. I mean, he's really making something of himself, and he looks better and healthier than ever, and people instinctively know it. It takes character to pull yourself out of that, and they have more respect for him now than ever before. And I think that it will be the same with LaLaine. People will respect her more, in the future than they ever had before. And, the thing about LaLaine, she's still very young. I mean, she's only going to be 21 coming this June 3rd, and happy birthday to her. That's still very young. She could do so much more in her life. All she needs is faith in God and faith in herself. I mean, apparently it was a lack of faith in herself that got her into the drugs in the first place. I mean, listening to society's ridiculous demands about being super thin and everything like that, I have never seen her in anything I considered her overweight. I mean, she has always been beautiful. She's always had an incredible figure. There is no reason for her to think bad of herself like that. I mean, it isn't that she's not good enough for society, and society isn't good enough for her. She's always been perfect just as she is. And I hope she comes to realize that, and realize that all she needs is faith in God and faith in herself. God has so many plans for her, and you can tell He does. That she's a special person that can really make a difference in this world. I heard something about her considering to write a book, and I think that'd be great. She's an intelligent young woman. You can tell that she'd be a good author. She could write a whole lot of books. She could write scripts and movies, anything, as well as doing her acting and things. She's already written some of her songs, I believe, So, I mean, she's an extraordinary young woman. And all I can say to people who, ridicule her and stuff is I've noticed that the only people who, as they say, people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. I've noticed the only people who throw stones are people who live in glass houses. Nobody who has a reasonably together life wastes their time ridiculing other people. LaLaine is clearly a good person who just made a dumb mistake, but all the best ones do. I mean, you take King David out of the Bible and everything. I mean, the people with the strongest faith often make the dumbest mistakes, And all I can say is LaLaine has so much of a future ahead of her. She's still a very young woman. God has a lot of plans for her. God bless her, and a happy birthday to her. And this is my first YouTube video. I hope I didn't do too bad on it. And thank you, and God bless. Bye-bye.